Hello everyone, and thank you for the invitation. I'm Pierre Padilla, the director of Biomakers Lab, the first Peruvian biohacker space, and Peru coordinator of SyntechBio, which is a network of biohacker space in Latin America. First of all, I want to apologize for not being online. At this moment, I must be in the middle of the Amazon, doing some research. I have a project with the School of Public Health from Universidad Peruana Cayetana Heredia, where we seek to improve health services for pregnant women in rural communities. Today, this lecture is based on the Biohacker Manual that we wrote with some members of SyntechBio and made it available the last year. In the next part of this video, Dr. Andres Ochoa will share with you more about this manual and some thoughts about biohacking, why it's so important these spaces, and what we can do for our society. Dr. Ochoa is the founder and director of SyntechBio, Chief Technology Officer of OneSkin, a biotech startup in the United States, and he's also one of the authors of the Biohacker Manual. If you want to download, you can get it free on the webpage of SyntechBio. It's available in 4 languages, in Spanish, in English, in Portuguese, and thanks to Thomas and Ponce from Cameroon, it's also available in French. Thank you again. Now I'll let you with Andres.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for inviting us today. My name is Andres Ochoa. I'm the founder and director of the SyntechBio network, which is the network of biohacker spaces in Latin America. A biohacker space is an open space for science and technology. The idea of these spaces is to be actually tools and places where we can change our society using science, technology, and education. Basically, the network has been around for a couple of years. I have a background of several years in biotechnology, have a PhD in genomics, have worked in private and public initiatives. I have worked in the university as a postdoc and researcher. I have my own companies in the United States. At this moment, I have one company in California which work with tissue engineering. I'm Colombian. I moved when I was around 20 years old to Brazil, Sao Paulo, living there for several years. And then live in Buenos Aires, live in Berlin in Germany, living, I lived in the Antarctic doing also research. And was clear to me through all my movement around Latin America that we have a lot of necessities and we struggle with things that maybe this technology actually can help us to solve. The problem was that this technology was just useful or was just or only few people can reach it. So you need to be in a university, you need to have all these kind of things that a lot of people has not in our community. So maybe you can do a postdoc, you can do a PhD, maybe you are from a different area, but you want to learn basic biology and see how that combines with your ideas. And normally universities are a little more difficult to get around into these topics if you are not from that exact place and you are not studying exactly that. And the idea is like the world is changing really fast. We have a lot of necessities, and biotech is beginning to get at some point where actually we can build solutions. It's still at the beginning. So think about it like the 70s with computers, when they began to build computers and sometimes they work, sometimes they didn't. Biotech is in a similar stage. We have technology that sometimes works better, sometimes it doesn't, because we are trying to solve a really, really hard technology. So the idea is, okay, we need to put this on hands on the people, on the hands of the people. So let's open spaces to have actually this task to help people to actually have access to this technology. These spaces are called biohacker spaces, which are nothing more than open spaces for biotechnology. And after a couple of years, we began the network in order to help this to happen in Latin America. I'm pretty grateful and I'm pretty happy to have really a real team. I have a team of people that just joined it, this network, and there are amazing people like Pierre Padilla, for example, like Joel from Mexico. We have Sofia also from Mexico. We have people around all Latin America that is open their own spaces, and as a network, we try to support them in a way that try to use all that we learned from each other. For my point of view, education is not anymore a vertical stuff. Like you teach me and you're the professor. Not anymore. Now way it's a pure education in which I learn from you and you learn from me, and that's what we wanted to do in the network. We want each other learn from the other's experiences, so you don't have to begin your biohacker space from the scratch. And in order to do that, we say, okay, will be the best way to put everybody into the same page, give them the same basic information so they can just start opening their spaces. And that's how we came out with the manual, the guide for biohackers. The authors, you have people as Pierre Padilla also, as Joel, uh, myself, we have also supported from different countries, and as one of our advisors is Maria Chavez from BioCurious, which is one of the first and biggest biohacker space in the world, which is located here in California. And all these people brought information to the manual and help us to write it in different languages. So we have it in Spanish, which is the main language that is spoken in all Latin America, but we also did it in Portuguese because we want to bring the Brazilian community into what we're doing. After that, we wrote it in English because it helped us to reach other communities. And we're really grateful now for our collaborators in Africa, which were able to translate it into French, which is also a language that is spoken in a lot of regions around the world and in Africa. And our idea now is try to take the network and be helpful in Africa. These biohacker spaces, we don't want them to be an extension of anything. They have to be themselves in a way that if you help these places to happen, what is interesting is what happened next. After you have a biohacker space, you have a community around it. And the community will try to build technology that makes sense to their context. They're gonna build solutions for their ecosystem, for their peers, for their society, and that's what biohacker space needs to be. It does not needs to be like a copy of another biohacker space or something like that. No, each biohacker has his own roots and his own identity, and this identity is gonna be related to their problems, what they wanna solve, what they wanna build, and that's why these spaces are so powerful. So we designed this manual with this guide with 3 chapters. The first chapter is about equipment. You need equipment for developing this technology. So we did this equipment chapter into 4 subchapters. Three, yeah, 4. The first one is microbiology. It's like the basic technology you can use. You just grow bacteria and do fermentation, and what are the equipment you need for that. You will find all the links in the guide. This is like the basic technology that you use for using biohacking. After that, you have molecular biology. Biology is a little more tricky. You need to know how to extract DNA, RNA, how to synthesize a plasmid, for example, or buy one plasmid or copy a plasmid and put it in a bacteria so you can produce a protein that you want to produce. So this is a little more tricky technology. You need some different equipments, but this is also reachable, and that's the second subchapter. So you know what you need for doing molecular biology. The tier one is tissue engineering. You can have tissue cultures and tissue engineering on plant tissue, but also on animal, mammal, or even human cells tissue. This last chapter, we just did a short chapter just to beginning to talk about it. It's a little more complex because how to handle these cells and the necessities of these cells to grow and to grow healthy is harder to do. So we did an initial just introduction of tissue engineering, and then we expect in the second version of the manual to go forward with more information about that stage. Besides those three steps, which are one easier than the next one, and so on. We have also bioinformatics. Bioinformatics is a little different in a way that the only thing that you need to do bioinformatics is a computer. And this is amazing, and this is so powerful because in there you will see the links to public information. Most of the science we do in genomics and genetics, it's out there online in the databases and you can access it. Once you understand what to do with this information, you can just download it in your computer and do research by yourself. If your computer is not good enough, doesn't matter. You can just go into Amazon, a web server, put a web server and process in there. There are some options that actually are for free right now. So actually you can get some power, computing power behind you and just begin to do science and research. And this is amazing because in the last year we have put a lot of information online as we never did before because of the sequencing of the genomes right now. So you have access to 1,000 genomes, human genome, for example. One of the latest projects that we had was sequencing 1,000 human genomes. I have worked myself for several years in bioinformatics also. Besides my work in the bench, like doing pipetting and doing experiments, I have worked a lot with bioinformatics, and I can guarantee you that you can get a lot of fun doing research on that field, and it's easy to tackle. You will find information online to learn it, and we put some of this information in the manual. This is like the first chapter, how to start to build equipment and to also process data in your computer to do biotechnology. The second chapter, it's about regulations and biosafety. As a biohacker community and as scientists and people who wants to improve society, we are really, for us, it's really important to do this in the right and the safety way. So since we are supporting spaces in different places on Latin America, because of that, we are really focused into first like an initial context of biosafety around the world, but secondly we focus in each country where we are supporting spaces. So right now you can find the regulation and biosafety information for Brazil, Peru, and Mexico. We want to expand that chapter to other places in Latin America, but also in Africa. Guys, we will love to have you on board helping us to write what is the regulation and what you need to do for doing biotech in different countries in Africa. So we can put that together and that we actually make this process to be faster to other people in Africa. And that's the whole idea. How we help people to do this faster and cheaper, and how we can expand these communities, because at some point these communities we will work and do projects together. So the faster we can launch more spaces, the faster the network grows and more impact we can have. After that, the third chapter, the last chapter, it's about how to build a space in the point of view of community and resources, more management resources. So in a way that how to build a community, how to bring people, how to have diversity in the spaces, and also how to get resources, because we know you will need some money at some point. So how you can try to crowdfund or get public resources to help you on this development. So this document, we think is really basic. We write it, but if you see, it's more like a list of links of information people have online. So we didn't like do all the how you build this equipment or another. We didn't have to do that. All the information is already online. The problem is that any person go there and find links, but didn't have a structure what to follow in order to actually build a space. And that's why we're trying to give to you guys a structure of what to do first, what to do second, what are the important points you have to look at. And we are beginning to talk about the second version of this manual. We want to include more countries, we want to include more information about equipment. We want to put that online as an online platform. That's where this is going, and we will love the help of any of you on this task also. Besides that, I will say please join us. We have channels of information online. First, we have a Facebook page in which, if you follow, you will be in contact with a lot of news and about science and technology and biotech and biohacking, because we don't write stuff by ourselves, because it's really hard to write science in a good way, in a way that is understandable for people that is has no scientific background, for example. So instead of doing that, we are sharing a lot of content which we know is good information in a way that you can trust, but also it's written in a way that you can actually understand, even if you're not a scientist. And that's the whole point. We're not doing this for scientists, we're doing this for everybody to be able to understand science, because our society is totally dependable on science. And it's kind of sad that we don't understand a little bit of it. So we can also contribute, but we can also say, okay, this is not good. Maybe we can try to improve that. We need everybody in this uh, moment to be able to interact and say where humanity is going and where we're gonna go as a species and what the science we should be doing, because we know the necessities. And that's the powerful thing about biohacking, to put this on the hands of the people. So we have the Facebook page, and we also have a Facebook community which has already around 2,000 people. So the community, it's a different idea. The idea is in there you will find 2,000 people who wants to do this. And those 2,000 people are at different stages. Some of them have PhDs, some of them are just an artist or a designer who is curious about biology. So this is amazing because you can go there and ask questions and find people to do your own projects or understand stuff. Or you just go there and say, hi, I need resources. Can you send me papers or information to learn about this or the other stuff? And people will do it. That's pretty amazing. Besides that, we have our website where SyntechBio also, it's called syntechbio.com. In there, you will see several publications we have written. You will find the manual in the different versions, and you will find a list of the people who is managing all these different spaces in Latin America. And you will find also email, so you can contact us. I'm happy to just reach me in Facebook. A lot of people does it, and if I have questions or if they want to do something I don't know, I can just point you in the right person to talk to, who is going to have the answers. I know a lot of people, and that's pretty amazing about the online communities right now. So guys, we're really honored to begin to have talks and begin to try to do collaboration with Africa. We know we share a lot of the struggles and problems, your society in Africa as our society in Latin America. So we're really looking forward to try to build this together. So thank you so much for giving us 15, 20 minutes of your time so you can hear what we're doing. And if you think this makes sense to you, please join us. Thanks.